Yo, what's up guys? Jetxc here. Hopefully you guys been doing good. Could not get a stream today, so I thought I'd do a video. We'll be back soon. Just enjoying the holidays right now, so we will get a stream sometime this week. Yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about my pulls here with Tier and then really just test out the abilities with her skills, which is pretty interesting, I will say. But just to kind of get into it, the pulls actually went quite all right. I was kind of getting scared. I had over 400 pulls, and I eventually kind of ended up finding a cheap way, as I was like, okay, actually I kind of don't want to go through all 400 of my pulls here because I'm gonna crash out. So as I'm going through everything, I realized I got up to about 180 pulls in total, and the way I got there was because I used the 2.5 Annie monthly selection costume and my regular monthly selection costume, because I realized, you know what, I don't have too many costumes I need to +1, because all the costumes that I have left that are what, like +3, 4, 5, they're already pretty much okay. So went ahead, made some shortcuts, and got two dupes of the costume with just the monthly, right, and the 2.5 that helped with that second one. So yeah, pretty nice. I got her in like 180 pulls, and yeah, that was pretty much it. It wasn't anything too crazy, so don't worry, it wasn't something super crazy where I pulled a bunch of dudes. I didn't pull a dude once, but yeah, if it was something wild, I definitely would have played the whole thing for you guys, but it actually went pretty well. So yeah. Alright guys, so getting into Tier's kit a little bit here, it's actually pretty simple, right? She's going to be applying SP cost increase by 2, and you get that for essentially 8 turns, and you're doing 300% of your damage. And then the damage dealt increases by 180% for each SP consumed, which will add up to somewhere around, I believe, like 1080. Basically, you're doing a ton of damage with that on top of the 300% of your attack. And believe it or not, if you compare it to her default outfit, she is doing similar amount of damage. And yeah, she's pretty busted. Tier is really busted. The one thing I have to say is doing SP management is key. But the most important costume out of the two, in my opinion, is her default costume. Bunny Tier is a nice to have to kind of round her out a little bit. But if you want to do damage in a big group of tiles, then you definitely want her default outfit. But Fiend Hunt and Guild Raid, this costume for Tier is going to be really important. Not to be honest with you, you don't really need her Bunny Tier costume in like general content. If you've got default Tier, that's all you really need. But yeah, I would definitely say get this costume for Fiend Hunt and Guild Raid for sure. Again, Tier is busted. Getting her +1 would be amazing. And yeah, overall, I really don't see much wrong with her. I tested her out in Fiend Hunt. Interesting little gimmick with the Fiend Hunt. So if you get hit, you get an extra SP increase. So you can actually max out on Tier's damage a couple times by having it to where your the amount of SP you consume can be like up to like 7, maybe 8 in some scenarios. I was just doing some practice runs. And yeah, she ended up doing a ton of damage. Her costumes really do around the same amount, so it kind of flip-flops between just doing a ton of damage with whichever costume you use, but obviously you hit more tiles with the default Tier one. So yeah, they kind of even out in a sense. It's pretty interesting, but overall, a pretty crazy costume to have. So again, for those of you that like Tier, obviously you're gonna go for a copy anyway. Her cutscene is pretty cute. The mushroom is pretty interesting on the home screen. If you guys haven't already, check out her home screen. The motions she's putting on the mushroom is pretty interesting. So overall though, I think this is going to be a pretty solid costume over time. If you're not someone that's going to +5 her, then you know, try and get her at least +1 and leave it at that. But there will be more reruns coming on top of that too. So yeah, it'll be pretty cool. Also, Tier's Gluppy Diner is basically up. Obviously, I can't show anything Gluppy Diner related or even Gacha Skim related because we've known, well, we knew what happened last time when I did that with Zenith. I got completely taken down. So yeah, a pretty simple patch, nothing too crazy. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know how your polls went. That's it for me though. I am out. Later.